Hi, my name is Ashton, and I'm going to show you how I do my magic rings when I'm making projects with the Chenille yarn. The flaking, the breaking, all of that, I got pretty sick of it pretty fast. Someone had said to use acrylic yarn, but I hadn't actually been able to find a tutorial for it that night and didn't feel like fooling with it. So I'd actually just done it my own way. I found out that a lot of people do it differently than I do. But I will be showing you the way that I do it. Hopefully it works for you. If it doesn't, feel free to find somebody else, because I'm always learning too. So in that situation, let's go ahead and get started. All right, I am going to show you how I make my magic rings with the fluffy Chenille yarn, and I do it a little different than some people, but I hope that this is able to help you if you're tired of the breaking with making the magic rings purely out of the Chenille yarn. So what you're going to do is you're going to find a skein of acrylic yarn that is just close in color. It doesn't even really have to be all that close in color. So these are the colors I'm going to be using. Of course, this one's quite a bit brighter than this one, but I will show you that it's not going to matter. As long as they're vaguely close in color, nobody's going to be able to tell the difference. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut 5 to 6 inches of yarn. You can do it with much less than the acrylic yarn, but the less yarn you use, the harder it's going to actually be. So I would recommend, at least at first, doing a little bit longer than normal. So what you're going to do is, with this piece of yarn you've got, you're going to fold it in half and end up with that. You're going to need to just fold it. You're going to make what's called a lark's head knot. The way I do mine is I kind of spread these fingers out and then reach them forward, which kind of crosses like this and makes that little triangle. So you'll do that, and then hold them together this way. And you can also do it by actually just taking it and holding that piece. And that'll give you the knot you're looking for. So you'll take it and you'll take your hook. You'll put it in from the front of it to the back, like that, which will cause it to just kind of loop around that way. At that point, you'll take the ends here and put them onto the end of your crochet hook, and you can probably slide it through, but I started doing this with amigurumi, so my habit is to just simply pick it up and push it over. And then you've got that. Once you tighten it up, it'll create this little loop that slides fairly easily. You want to go ahead and just set that down for a second. We're going to make this your Chenille yarn. All right, I got a little flustered there, so I'm going to have to cut the video and pull it back. But what we've got now is this. And then we are going to go ahead and do a slip knot with our Chenille yarn. Should put it that way. Go ahead and lay that down now. Take this part and look for the hump and put it onto your hook. And then you are going to take the slip knot, put it on there as well. Pull it, but not super tight. And then just pull it through where the acrylic stuff is, and chain 1. That's going to wrap it around there. And I actually choose to use the first stitch that I make, that chain 1. I know a lot of people don't use the chain 1, don't count it as a stitch, and in a lot of patterns that's what you need to do. But for this, with amigurumi, I've never had a problem with not doing it, so it would be really up to personal preference for you on this part. Just make sure that if you do not count your chain 1 as a stitch, you skip it on row 2. Now you're going to just finish your magic ring. I am just kind of making something for fun here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a magic ring of 7, because personally I feel like a magic ring of 7 looks a lot better than a magic ring of 6, simply because it seems to space out a little bit easier. I have a lot less trouble with it pointing if it's 7 or 8. With the 6 stitches, I sometimes have an issue with it being pointy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. and that's going to give you this here. I'm going to push this out of here. It's not going to really matter what way it's put in there, but it's going to make it easier for me to close it up. So now you can actually just pull this out a little bit to make it a little more comfortable, but you'll pull on this part here. And then secure your yarn back here. Push these out of the way. So these two ends, you're going to push them out of the way, leave them alone for a second. Go ahead and start at your first single crochet or your chain one if you're me. Go ahead and put your hook back in there. I use the chain one as a stitch because using the stitch markers means I can actually use it as a stitch without having too much trouble getting the hook back in. So that's why I do it that way. Next, I'm going to go ahead and just enter that first stitch and do my single crochet. For this round, I'm actually going to go ahead and just do increases all the way around. So just keep these out of your way and continue to work on this second row. 2, 2, 2, and then 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, oops, 6, then 7, 7. And that puts me at my 14 that I was needing. And you can see that there's a little bit of gap here. Obviously, we don't want that. So we're gonna go ahead and just pull this out a little bit. And now that that second row is done, you can actually tighten this even more. And then once you've done that, you're just gonna tie it in a square knot, which will cover up the rest of that gap. So you're going to right over left, left over right. You can even do a surgeon's knot here. Doesn't really matter, it's gonna be on the inside. The main thing is we want it to be secure. So you can make it as big as you want, doing a surgeon's knot to make it more secure. Then you're just gonna leave it alone. So just leave it alone. Now you go ahead and do your next row. So I'm probably actually just gonna make this into a little toy for the cats to throw around or something for a while. Stress ball type thing. Since I don't have a custom order for this color, but I felt like it would be easy to see if I used this color. So I'm going to do an increase and then a single crochet and then an increase all the way around. Single crochet, increase. All right, so there's no more sunlight, so this lighting's gonna be a little bit more harsh since I had to turn on the top light. However, I'm done with my little mushroom. I did something different on the face. I don't really think I liked it, but you don't know until you try, and it's cute, but I don't think it works with the size of the creation, and it could have been a little bit better. But regardless, I think it's cute. I'm probably still gonna fiddle around with it and play with it and make a pattern that's better in the future. But for now, this is just me goofing around, and this is what that magic ring looks like at the end, all the way stuffed. As you can tell, the color I used here is darker than this one. This is the same color that I used in the magic ring. And you can't even see it, not even a little bit. So that's how I do mine. This I was just kind of freehanding, and sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. This time I don't think it did, but I guess let me know if you think he's cute in the comments, but I'm gonna keep working on it, keep making him a little better. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope your magic rings are a little bit less of a hassle. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.